Do you hate the pain scale as much as I do? Keep watching to find out what could be done to change it. The pain scale is one of those things that's been around for decades and primarily and often used by physicians to try and gauge at what level their patients are feeling. Today, I want to challenge that thought, talk about the difference between acute and chronic pain, and not only that, but really explain to you guys what's going on with me, why I'm in bed, and how and what it has to do with the pain scale. I've become bedridden after going to the gym earlier this week. It kind of gets complicated from there. No, I don't blame the gym or my trainer. This was purely my body's fault. I don't blame myself either, but it is the reality of having multiple chronic illnesses. I unfortunately, about halfway through my workout, got really dizzy and nauseous and really wasn't feeling well. So I just decided to stop and have a seat on my walker like I always do. My symptoms usually would get better. Unfortunately, as time went on, I just felt worse, and so I decided to place myself on the floor. When I did this, I essentially slipped off my walker and straight onto the floor. Like I said, it's nobody's fault. I should have taken it easier. It was just one of those things. I didn't realize how fast I was coming off my walker and onto the floor. I ended up hitting my hip quite severely and now have severe hip pain. I'm honestly pretty sure it's just a really bad internal bruise, but like anything, you just never quite know. If I'm in this much pain tomorrow, we will be going to the doctor to make sure that we get it checked because, as you guys probably well know, having chronic issues means that you kind of avoid the medical system as much as you can. And I know better than that, and I know that if I'm still in a lot of pain, let's make sure it's not anything more serious. But that gets me to the thought of the pain scale. It's something is talked about a lot in the chronic pain community. It's something that we discuss a lot because we honestly really hate it for chronic pain. But in its true form, it was created for acute pain. Acute pain is a pain that suddenly comes on after an injury or an accident or something of that nature, very similar to what happened to me. And now I've got this really bad pain. I know this pain isn't going to be here forever. Well, I sure hope it's not going to be here forever. But the reality is it's very harsh and it's very quick. You'll do that, breaking a bone or things that just can happen in life. Sometimes it's just, stepping off your walker too fast and hitting your butt on the cement floor. That does it too sometimes. But either or, I understand its importance in the acute setting. In the acute setting of someone having an injury and needing to get it fixed, it's probably an injury where they're having significant pain, worst pain they've had, a 10 out of 10, like they say. What's your pain? 1 out of 10, as the pain scale often goes in an emergency setting. I have severe pain. Now, I also have chronic pain, which means that the pain I'm currently living is not a 10 out of 10 pain. For the average human, it might be, but for me, it's different because I've got this underlying chronic pain situation that makes things a little bit more complex. And it's in this chronic pain setting that things get complicated in emergency situations. And this is the big kicker of why the community really truly hates the pain scale, and why I hope this message gets to at least a few physicians out there. Maybe one day we'll be able to change the narrative. I want to share with you guys my last emergency visit to the hospital, which was a few years ago now, thankfully, but it was one that didn't go very well. I was in the middle of a colonoscopy prep. If you want to hear all about that, you can check it out in the card next. But the reality is the prep wasn't going well. I was in very severe, I would say acute pain in my abdomen. So I have Crohn's. My Crohn's pain got worse and worse and worse to the point where I couldn't finish my prep. And things were going down here really fast. I was dehydrated and things were just going wrong. And we knew this because I've done multiple preps, and I know that what was happening that day was just not normal. Not normal for me. And that's when you get into the emergency room and they try and get you to explain what's going on, and they don't really take you seriously. The ER doctor really didn't know what to do with me. He's like, okay, well, I guess we'll get an ultrasound to see kind of what's going on, but let me ask you some questions. And then of course he asked me the dreaded pain question, 1 out of 10, how is your pain? And truly in its core, my pain was bad. I was probably, if I wanted to really put it on the scale, at a 6 or 7, but we knew something was wrong. This is not the first prep I had done, and I just wish this is the question they asked instead. What is different about your pain today that made you come into the emergency room? What is that thing? When you're dealing with chronic pain patients, there is usually an incident, a trigger, or something that they truly know is different from their regular pain, their regular chronic life. And that's what makes them come into the emergency room. And I wish that style of communication and that level of respect of communication was taken on by emergency services. It's one that honestly I've never seen. It's one that I wish I would see one day. And I think we will have truly taken a step forward in accessibility and disability if I ever hear different communication when it comes to dealing about pain in a chronic setting, but in an emergency chronic setting. It's something that just doesn't exist. The cats are having fun being next to me today. I have been bedridden for 2 days. I hope this is nearing the end, but unfortunately my pain has been going in the wrong direction. So we'll keep you guys posted at how I feel in next week's video. I hope this video is still helpful to you, and if you know someone in the medical community, especially in the emergency community, I'd love to know their thoughts on the pain scale. I know they use it every day, and it's one of those open dialogues that I think we should be having more with the disability community and people with chronic pain so that we can serve them better in an emergency setting. It's something that just isn't being done right now, and I think it's time for it to change. I hope you guys have enjoyed today's video. If you have any comments, please make sure you leave them down below. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and we'll see you guys next week. Don't forget to slow your roll. You want to see a fun colonoscopy video? I've got another one coming up soon, so check it out.